The ROKID MAX AR glasses are glasses that allow us to have a super large borderless display in front of us, and the improvements that we have in here over the last generation or even some of the other options on the market make it a very compelling purchase if you're looking to have that portable display with AR capabilities for your smartphone, for your PC, or anything that has support for video output over USB-C. This is going to augment the experience and make it so much better. This is TK and this is my review of the ROKID MAX AR glasses. Let's check them out. Like and subscribe and make sure you hit that bell icon so that you're always notified whenever we have new videos on the channel. So here's the package that I got from ROKID. There's the ROKID matte box. This is, again, if you purchase the device itself, this is what you'll be getting. There is basically the ROKID hub. There's an HDMI to USB-C, and of course lanyards to be able to keep it so that it doesn't fall off. When you're using them, you can just put them directly on your chest. And last but not least, a nice little memento, this little kind of like I would say a keepsake of the ROKID. I guess this is their mascot, but overall looks really nice and definitely a nice little gift. So this is the actual hub itself. It's very small, very portable, and one of the best options to use if you're using it, let's say, with a Nintendo Switch, but it also works really nicely with smartphones. It allows us to actually charge our device and use the headset at the same time, which is something that we typically don't do. Once we plug in any kind of AR glasses on the market, the first thing you're going to need to do is compromise that USB-C port, because that's going to be the main area where you're able to get the video output. So keep in mind, really nice, very functional. It works with the Nintendo Switch, and we'll talk about that in a second. And the other thing that they also sent here is an HDMI to USB-C converter that also requires power. Now this adapter allows us to actually use any kind of HDMI device that uses full-size HDMI output and convert it into a USB-C connector so that we're able to plug in the cable, well, the cable that comes with the glasses, and of course be able to use that as a display for it. Perfect example, I'm going to be testing this out with my PS5 and of course play at 120 frames per second on the brand new ROKID MAX AR glasses. Now the last thing they did also include here is the anti-slip straps, and these allow us to actually clip to the back of the headset itself here, so that it basically allows us to basically put that in there and then let it rest on our chest when we're not using it. So it becomes more of an area where you can put the glasses without having to put them down if you're just taking a small break between either watching movies, playing games, or even creating editing content on your Macbook Pro. Of course, last but not least, is everything that you need in this box comes directly in a nice, really good protective case that is sent directly inside. Very strong, both sides, and I like the configuration because it also has a loop that you're able to put, let's say, on the outside of your bag or something to that effect. But overall, to get inside, you just go ahead and unzip, and then from there, turn it on, and of course, you have the glasses right away. The design's very nice, and it's kind of a stacked layered experience. So there's that little nice nose guard there, so this kind of helps you know exactly where to put the glasses. So very simple and very easy. We have additional nose pads as well as the USB-C cable in here, positioned very nicely, and of course we're going to need that to be able to do some of our testing for the video, of course. Last but not least, of course, different configurations for the nose pads. So you're able to take them out, put them whichever one you need. There is one already I have on the glasses themselves, and then this is nicely put in there. And of course, at the end of the day, when you're using them, just put this back in there, close it up, zip it up, and then put it on the side and enjoy your device. And the only other thing that they do have inside in here is, of course, the instruction manual in case you need that, and if that's pretty much the only other option. Now, when we're looking at the glasses themselves, there is basically a blackout shade. This is the shades that you would use to get more of that personal experience. You are able to use them in this experience, and one of the biggest things about this is how you're going to be able to get that really large 215-inch borderless display at a 1080p resolution when you're watching content with this and still aware of the environment. The nose bridge is very nice and very present here. You're adjusting it depending on your configuration. It's going to work really nice. One of the biggest changes they did from the last one is the fact that now these covers no longer require a screwdriver to be able to put them on or take them off. They're more of basically a clamp. So there's a little bit of a clamp at the bottom here. Let's go focus. Bottom here under the two eyes, and of course on the top. And all you have to do is basically clamp it on one end, put it on. And they did say that there's going to be different options and different solutions, but this one comes in the box, which I really appreciate. Let's go ahead and take it out. The other thing I will bring to your attention is how thin this design is. Look at how thin and how small these glasses are. Very nice and very portable and extremely lightweight. Total weight about 75 grams, which is really light considering what they're able to do for us. As far as the configurations of what we have in here, we still have the ability of configuring the diopters on the top, and that's going to be from 0 to -60. That means for me or anybody else that's using these glasses, you're able to configure them, and as you can see right there, I left the stickers there for us to be able to see, but essentially you just basically roll it right and left till you get the right configuration for the eye. You do the same thing for the other one, and then you pretty much have a good experience. The proximity sensor is actually positioned on the right side, and you can see it's sitting right there, right above the controls. We have a single button to be able to change between 6 different brightness levels, from 1 all the way to 6. 6 would be the highest, and of course the ability of basically configuring it one at a time. So it's a single press, jump, and it cycles through the entire options. The volume up, volume down are present in here, and this is also going to be where the ability of turning on the 120 frames per second configuration. Now out of the box, they're not turned on. You do need to press and hold this button for 8 seconds. The glasses will power cycle and will come back at 120 frames per second. Now to be able to switch between the 3D and the SBS mode, you just need to press and hold the brightness button for 2 seconds, and it'll be able to switch between the two. So something to keep in mind whenever you're using the app. The resolution on these, on both of these small displays that we have in here, and you can see them, they're sitting right there, are going to be 1080p resolution and of course 50 degrees field of view. And one of the new options that they did in here is the fact that when you're adjusting the diopters on the top, the actual display, basically the square footage of the display doesn't change. So you're keeping the same display, and of course you're getting the best experience. These displays will basically mirror directly on the glass in there, so when you're watching them or you're using them, as I'm showing you guys in that little clip where my son was playing on the Nintendo Switch, they absolutely look fantastic. And if you're not wearing them with the shades, people can technically see a little bit of light coming through. So for that personal experience, this is where you want to be able to use the shades. Put it on, and voila, now you have a personal experience to be able to use on planes, you know, when you're sitting as a passenger in the car, or any experience where you want to be able to be a little bit more personal. Now there is a microphone that's positioned at the top, and that's what's kind of opening it over there for some of the content that requires it. But otherwise it's pretty much straightforward. Last thing I want to mention, USB-C connector, standard USB-C connector that's using the cable that they do provide us. And the cable itself that comes with it has a very nice 90-degree angle that positions on the back, which means no stress on that configuration there. And of course, the other side will go to whatever device we're going to use to give us video. Before we go too far, as I mentioned to you guys, using this adapter is very straightforward. You connect your headset or your glasses directly in here, provided power over the micro USB connector, and connect this to your HDMI port directly. And this is going to be the best way to be able to experience. So I decided to play some Horizon West, as I'm sharing with you guys real quick some of the clips in there, directly from my PS5. As you know, it's a PS5 exclusive, and I was able to enjoy the content at a very nice, very big display. I also was able to actually take a break and be able to do a little bit of work where I took off the actual shield and allowed me to actually work through the glasses. Remember, they're actually see-through when they're not turned on when you're using them, especially on the bottom portion of the glasses. They may look a little bit different, but you're able to do some work and then switch between the two configurations very, very nicely. The adapter is very light. Just need to keep in mind that you do need to have the adapter and a way to power it. For me, I powered it with the front USB-A port, and that worked really nice for me on the PS5. Let's talk a little bit about the hub itself. This one works pretty straightforward, and it actually kind of works like a hub for the Nintendo Switch. So basically all you need to do, it doesn't matter which version of the Switch itself. You plug it into the bottom, provided power, so you put in the power on the right side, and then of course plug the glasses. And of course, since we're putting in a docked mode, you do need to take the actual Joy-Cons off the Nintendo Switch. So I gave this to my son, and I wanted him to play a little bit of Splatoon, and he really went at it. He enjoyed it quite a bit because it made it so that he doesn't actually hunch over with the actual controller. So we put the power bank connected to power directly to the Switch, and of course he was playing it with the Joy-Cons. We went back and forth between using the controller attachment or the grip that we got with the Joy-Cons, or using it directly by freehand, and it actually worked depending on the game that he was using quite well. Now, as far as configuration, it's pretty straightforward. If you plug this in on your device that supports USB-C video output, that's going to work perfectly fine. The biggest thing I also want to mention is that these glasses do support HDCP, meaning if you're using them with a device or a laptop that requires HDCP support to be able to play, let's say, Netflix or some basically videos that typically will require it, like Netflix, Apple TV, and so on, you do need to be aware that these will actually work perfectly right out of the box. I have it configured that the moment I plug in the glasses, it automatically launches the ROKID app. And of course, what you have here is different customizations here. So the event obviously is here, Max, you can see Netflix is in there. You have AR spaces to be able to change between the different modes. By default, it's turned on to augmented reality, and you're able to turn it on. So it says headset connected, you press on it, and you're able to jump into it. Community, be able to kind of engage with the community. Mall, if you want to be able to pick up some of those accessories that I shared with you guys and additional ones. This was for the ROKID This one's for the ROKID Air, so keep in mind that that's a different one. And of course, we have our profile that's just sitting in there. You're able to go in and log in with your profile to customize it. On the bottom, as you can see here, I have the option of looking around and seeing the different options. We have Cinema, we have AR Store to be able to download application, a built-in browser that allows us to actually use different services online. So you'll notice we have Google, Facebook, Amazon, Yahoo, Zoom. These are presets, and that allows us to actually go back. And of course, as I said, you guys, if we press the home button directly on the actual device, it takes me straight back home. On the bottom here, we have a phone app that allows me to switch back, and of course, any app list that I've already installed that I can use. So we have files, gallery, and this allows me to go in directly into my gallery. You can see here, I can actually take a picture, or go ahead and select a picture. We can see it here. And I can also use the back button and select a different option. This was a picture that I took of my son in the review that we did for this device. Now, lastly, we're able to switch over to device mode, which allows us to actually see exactly how our device is working. And what I really like about this is the ability of actually playing content on our device. Now, what you're listening to obviously is this episode of Demon Slayer that we're watching right here. It's pretty much a screen mirroring experience and a full display. If I want to make this display even bigger, I'll go ahead and remove the shades themselves, and the display will basically project in front of me. I can still see around me, and of course, I'm still able to enjoy the content around me. The main benefit, of course, is I wanted you guys to listen to the audio in there. And that gives us a very big step over some of the other options that we have on the market, where you definitely need to use a pair of earbuds. Now, the configuration that we have in here, of course, it's configurable. The volume is adjustable. The brightness level is adjustable. We have the proximity sensor to actually engage and disengage the glasses so they're not sitting there running hot. There's a little bit of a warming at the temple, right at the center when you're using them for some time. It's not hot. You will feel a little bit of a warming, and that's typical to most AR glasses that are on the market right now. And I love the shielding that they did there. Again, keep in mind, very nice, very thin design that we're getting here with these glasses that make them very nice and very portable. The biggest thing I will probably say is that the case itself does the job. Everything that you need, you can have in there, from the straps to the actual little hub that I do recommend you purchasing if you are going to pick up these glasses, because this will make your life a lot easier. And when I'm talking about life easier, meaning the ability of watching HDCP content, the support for offline voice control via the ROKID AR app, and of course, brightness level all the way up to 600 nits, or perceived 600 nits directly on the device. The 2-button configuration with the 6 level of sound, USB-C connection, of course, configuring it with the buttons that we have in here. So all along, what you're getting here is a portable display that you're able to take with you, again, on the flight, at the airport, as I'm going to be showing you guys with some of the clips. And this is definitely going to be augmented with the experience of getting that 215-inch display with up to 120 Hertz refresh rate at the 1080p resolution. The biggest benefit that we're getting here is the portability, the functionality, and the improved image and controls that we have on the Max series from ROKID. And that's over what we've seen in the past. The diopters on the top allow us to adjust from 0 to -60, which means we will not need to use glasses with this. Again, a very different, a main differentiator overall. The contrast ratio is 100,000 to 1 for the Gallicamet sRGB 106 area ratio, 50 degrees viewing angle, and it will not change either the display size or the actual viewing angle when you're adjusting the diopters, which was something that used to happen in the earlier generation. At the end of the day, I enjoyed playing with this either on my smartphone. I tested it out with Samsung, and of course we have Samsung DEX that's built in there. I tested it out with the Magic 5 Pro from Honor, and we of course have the Magic UI desktop. Of course, last but not least, is using it with my MacBook Pro to edit videos, which is really functional for me, because when I'm sitting on a plane, and one of the biggest things that we get into it is the fact that we have very little amount of space in front of us. This allows me to turn the display off, put it a little bit away from me, and actually use the glasses as my main display, which is a much bigger experience. Of course, the Steam Deck is going to be one of my last really cool things that I love doing there, and that's because we're able to use it to play games on this. It plugs in, the USB-C does provide video, and this is going to give us that best experience out of the box. You get to enjoy the content, and you get to enjoy it on the go with the ROKID MAX AR glasses. I want to say thank you very much to ROKID for sending me this device, and of course allowing me to check it out. There are a few accessories that I showed you here. They are sold separately, so just be aware of that when you're purchasing your glasses. And of course, the main experience is very, very nice. Like and subscribe as usual, and if you made it to this point in the video, there's going to be a code for you guys in the description below to save you $20 off your purchase. Thank you very much to ROKID. Thank you for the support. I'll see you in the next video.